So let's just get to the critical part of this class. So this is an example of what a BPMN looks like for a process where a customer check out, right? Like they already choose items from, let's say, a grocery store, and now it's time to pay. So first of all, the customer go to the checkout place, the cashier, and put the items on the belt, right? And then the cashier will start scanning the items. And the cashier, after scanning everything, the cashier will say credit card or cash, right? And then no matter what payment method you use, eventually all these items will be back, and then the cashier will give you the card after you pay, and then that concludes the process, right? So this is a very simple process, and from here you can see that the BPMN is very intuitive to understand. You don't need like very high like technical background to understand, right? It's very lay people friendly. So here are some fundamental elements for a BPMN. So I think you already previewed the chapter, right? So these should come very easily. So for any process, we have to start and end by using these circles, right? So this is the circle shape represents an event. And the most basic usage is just to put it at the beginning and end. So for the end, we have to bold it. Okay, so that's just, there's no why, it is just the framework. It's a little bit like we have a common language that we agreed on, that let's just use this shape to mean that thing. It's a little bit like how language works, right? So we just use these to represent the beginning and end, and any process needs to have these two elements. And for this event shape, we generally do not put annotation within the shape. We put it outside, okay? So we usually, if you want to add information, you add the annotation outside. We also use a rounded rectangle to represent an activity or a task. So for this kind of shape, we can add annotation within the shape. And usually the annotation is a very short verb phrase, right? So for example, here the description is scan the item and identify payment method. So this is the way to describe an activity or a task. And here, this diamond shape is called a gateway. So a gateway just gives you different scenarios, right? So here we have two scenarios, but in other processes, you may have multiple scenarios. And later we're going to talk about different types of gateway. And these arrows are called a sequence flow. So here the direction of the arrow shows the way in which the process flows, right? So you read in the direction of the arrow, right? So from here, we know that we have to read from left to right, right? And for the sequence flow, we can also add annotation like on the arrow, okay? And so for gateway, gateway is similar to the event shape that we do not add annotation within, but we add outside, right? So for example, the annotation for the gateway is like the type of payment method. So we add this annotation outside. So this is true for both the event and gateway, but for activity and sequence flows, the description can go inside.